Asheika believes.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Asheika Believes. I'm Asheika, and firstly I would like to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel so far, and if you haven't, please be sure to subscribe. So in the next month I'll be doing a series on emotional purity, as I've often found that there's so much emphasis put on physical purity, and people think, oh, because I'm physically pure then that's fine, but there's also an aspect of emotional purity that needs to be considered as well. So I'll be sharing my story about my journey through emotional purity and how I've overcome different obstacles, and I'll also be giving advice and support through that as well. So I became great friends with this guy who I met at work, and I remember as we started becoming friends, we'll talk almost every single day, Skype every week, and sometimes he'll call randomly. Like I'll receive random calls from him, like, okay, this is a bit random, you know. And I remember in the early stages of our friendship, we would even share personal things with each other. So he would share personal things with me, what was going on in his life, and I would share personal things with him and what was going on in my life, almost as if we became accountable to each other because we were there for each other as well. And I remember developing feelings for him, and I prayed and I said to God, God, if this isn't your will, then please strip away every desire, every emotion, if this isn't your will, because I don't want to fall into something that's outside of God's will. And I remember telling my friend that I was speaking to a friend, that this cool guy, you know, saying that he's great to speak to, he's always there to support me, things like that. And they told me to be careful. And even before I knew what was gonna happen in terms of me actually really liking this person, the person started praying for me, because as soon as the person knew that we were speaking, they were like, you know what, I'm gonna have to start praying because she may like him and he may like her. And the person didn't actually tell me that until I told them that I have feelings for the person. So they were praying for me even before. So fast forward to a few months later, I realized that our communication wasn't consistent. We weren't really speaking. So we'll check up on each other every now and again and meet up as well. And I realized that my feelings were growing deeper and deeper, and I kept praying the same prayer, God, if this isn't your will, just please let every desire and emotion go. And I remember him saying and doing things that didn't really add up, and I really wanted some clarity on that. He would really go out of his way to help me, and I mean really go out of his way, and sometimes even 5 times a day. Have you eaten? Have you had lunch? Have you had dinner? Have you had breakfast? And I'll be like, what is going on? Because some of the things he said made me think, okay, surely you're not in a relationship, because you're saying these things to me, you're doing all these things for me. And I remember there was a period where I was really focused on what and I remember there was a period where I was really focused on what I was doing then, so I wasn't really concerned about him. I was like, you know what, I'm still friends with him, but I'm doing what I need to do at this moment. So in the new year, our communication was consistent again. We were speaking almost every single day, calling each other, and it reached a point where my feelings had just taken control, literally. Like, as much as I did pray, God, let your will be done, it reached a point where my feelings absolutely took over. They dictated my decisions, and I wasn't really seeking God as much as I should have, and that's a hint. That's when I knew that something wasn't right. Then I reached a point where I was thinking, does he like me? Does he not? Because I'm really not sure. Like, I even had to ask some friends, what should I do? What should I say? How do I approach the situation? Because I then realized that the relationship wasn't established. Like, are we friends or are we more than friends? What are we? So a few months later, I was like, okay God, give me a time and a day where I can speak to him. So the day before, I messaged him and I said, I need to speak to you about something. And he was like, what's the topic of the conversation? What are we going to talk about? And I said, it's about clarity. Clarity. So he said, is it about me or you? And I said, it's about the both of us, but he still had no idea what I was gonna say. So the next day we met up and we went to a room and spoke, and as we both sat down, I said, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't like to use the word like. So I told him, for a while now I've cared about you a lot. These are the things you've been doing, these are the things you've been saying, and I really want clarity as to whether that feeling is mutual as well. And he made his intentions clear. He said, okay, I don't like you, but I do care about you a lot. Out of a very small amount of people that I do care about, you are one of them. And he said that he didn't intend for me to feel this way. Those weren't his intentions at all. Like, he only wanted to be friends. But at the same time, he was using all this hypothetical talk, like, I don't know where you'll be in the next year or so, I don't know where I'll be, with you being busy with this, I don't know what will happen, things like that. And you know what, at the end of the day, I was so happy that I got the clarity that I wanted, and that he did make his intentions clear, although they could have been made clearer in the beginning. And we both gave glory to God. We thanked God that we learned from the situation, that we learned so much, and that the relationship was finally defined, even though it could have been and should have been defined earlier on. And that's important, that relationships are defined from the very beginning. And from the conversation, we agreed that we would both stay friends. He said that he'll still check up on me, call me and things like that. And at first I wasn't too sure about that, because I wasn't sure if the friendship would remain the same. And fast forward to a few months later, I told him that I had moved on. Before I told him, of course the feelings won't go away like that, but it will take some time. And it did take some time, and the feelings finally settled. So I had told him when we were in a conversation, and he was quite rude, to be honest, and I don't understand why. And even a few months after that, when I would ask him how he was doing, things like that, he'll just be very blunt and very rude. And to be honest, it actually hurt. I didn't deeper until there were so many months. I didn't deeper until a few months after that. Because for someone to say they care about you, and then you tell them something, you tell them what's on your heart, and the fact that you want to establish what this relationship is, for them to say they care about you and then act like they don't want anything to do with you, they don't talk to you, they're just rude. So I said, you know what, like, it's all love. I still love you, but I'll love you from a distance, and I need to learn how to guard my heart as well. So I've definitely learned a lot in this situation. I'm still going through a process of healing and actually forgiving him as well. And many people won't understand, okay, why do you need to forgive him? Why are you going through a process of healing? But it takes a lot of forgiveness when someone has hurt you, even though they may not have done it intentionally. So yeah, that was my brief story. This is very short, as I didn't go into a lot of detail, and in respect of that person, I want it to be as confidential as possible. So yes, I hope you've learned a lot from this, and for my other videos I'll be giving advice and support and the things I've learned through my story as well. Like, this has happened a few times, and it honestly is a process, and it takes a lot of learning to understand this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening. Be sure to like, comment. I want to hear your comments and your views, and be sure to subscribe as well. Peace and love.